Welcome to the webinar today. This webinar is Don't Roll the Dice on Your Lab Informatics Implementation, Fill Each Role with Care. First, I'm going to talk to you today about our agenda. First, I'm going to introduce myself to you and what I know, and I'm going to go through what are the required roles for a laboratory informatics implementation, when to fill those roles and timing, and also who is the right person for each individual role. We're going to talk a little bit about intangibles that companies should be looking for when looking at these types of roles and people. And then we're also going to talk about what if you acknowledge that you don't have the right resources, what can you do? We're also going to talk about the surge or not to surge of resources toward a project. I'm going to summarize it at the end, and then I'm going to field your questions. So let me introduce myself. My name is Michael Barkin. I've been a senior informatics consultant and quality manager for 4 years with CSols. I specialize in validation and strategic services. I've worked in many different industries, such as consumer products, pharma, biopharma, chemical, medical device, etc. But in addition to that, I have more than 20 years of experience in laboratory informatics. I have experience in infrastructure, application development, environmental monitoring, stability, chromatography data systems, and LIMS. So I speak 2 languages. I'm certified by Microsoft as a Microsoft system engineer, and I also have my master's in chemistry. So I'm familiar with the lab speak, and I'm also familiar with the IT speak. I also have vast compliance knowledge in the regulated fields such as pharma. So what are the roles that are required for a laboratory informatics project? Well, you're going to need a project leader. Some people term that as project manager, and I'm going to go through the differences. You also need an organizational change manager, and we're going to go more deeply into what that means. You need a business analyst. You need a role that's both a developer and a configurer. They can be one role, or they can be separated into 2 independent roles. You need a master data loader, and that's we're going to speak about metadata and what that entails. In the regulated fields, you're going to need somebody who's going to be your key contributor from a validation standpoint. And then in addition to that, you're going to need subject matter experts within your business, and I'm going to speak to that as well. And of course, you need to bring quality in. Quality a lot of times is your final signatory, and it needs to be addressed in these projects. So who's a project leader for an informatics project? Well, a project leader should have domain experience in informatics. You don't want somebody who has not had experience in the laboratory deploying a laboratory computer system. What you do want is somebody who has that experience. You also would be looking towards somebody who has knowledge of the product to be deployed, because they can ask the smart questions, they can challenge the team, they can also assist the team. This type of project is not the type of project where it should be their first rodeo. It should be a project that they have experienced before, because there are a lot of learnings on a laboratory informatics project. I'm a big fan of Dilbert, and for those people who have done project leadership in the past, welcome to the Dogbert School for Zombies and Certified Project Managers. The training is the same for either one. The difference is zombies get more sun, and that means that an embedded project leader has their hand in every aspect of the project and really has very limited time. So what's the difference between a project manager, a product project manager, sometimes called a product facilitator, and a project leader. Well, a project manager may have the certification as a project manager. They may be very generic, and they may be very good at inputting tasks, both linked tasks and unlinked parallel tasks, and documenting a project moving forward in a timely fashion, assigning resources, understanding when more resources might be needed. A product project manager or a product facilitator, they're a person who knows the informatics product from soup to nuts, but does not necessarily know your business, your workflows, your field, how you do your work. A project leader can bridge the gap between both. They have knowledge about the software, but also have knowledge about the domain and the technologies. They can be somewhat of a guide at a high level and can speak virtually to anybody on the team or at a client site about the project and be knowledgeable and understanding of most things that could potentially come up in the project.